The encirclement is tightening. This is a tremendous deal, believe me.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Bulls vs. Bears, episode 107. Markets are on edge as the US is surrounding Iran. We're going to get into a little bit of that, and a little bit of the bit of follow up on the SaaS apocalypse from last week as well. But welcome, boys, Kai and GT.
You go. Thank you. Yeah, good to see everyone.
Yeah, and thanks for dialing in, and let's crack on.
Indeed. Well, it's been a bit of a rubbish sort of week, really. Chinese New Year may have something to do with it, but yeah, we so fairly quiet out of there, which means that iron ore has essentially been shut as well, and commodities markets have been pretty quiet. But yeah, Aussie markets had a whole host of earnings. You're probably better off going to Mosaic on that. We've got feature stories all week, but I mean, obviously, the massive highlight for me was Telix, up 14% today. Mainly just a comeuppance to the haters that have been, crapping on me online and on Twitter about it for the last a little bit. But I mean, it's still got $20 to go before I'm happy. But we had a busted up from like $9 to $10.40 today, up 15%. And we watched an interview on Ausbiz with the CEO, who was very confident, very reassuring, doing his job basically. So
the main takeaway from me when I watched is that he acknowledged the slide in the share price and the fact that the FDA approval process isn't a sure thing, but the fact that he was talking about some of the effects that the drugs are having on some of the patients within there, that gave me promise. And obviously, if there's a sniff of an approval as they go through these phase 3. The numbers are quite big in terms of, as they call it, the TAM.
Well, their existing drug that's already making them $900 million a year or $800 million a year, it could double if they get this FDA was it stage 3 trial done?
Yeah.
But they've got 3 stage 3 trials.
Exactly.
On at the moment, like it's hard enough to get to stage 3.
Mm-hmm.
So like. To have 3 going, and then they've got a couple others in stage 2. Prostate cancer is by far the biggest killer in China, and they just got approval there, and they got an approval in Europe this week. So yes, a mix of relief and like I say, just sticking it to the haters a little bit. I note that they didn't bring it up today and send me as many messages as they've been for. As it's been going down, but I expect it. I would say that would start to, that it would start to head higher because Ords has the lowest price target on it at $22.60.
What about the short interest? Do you know how big it is on?
Yeah,
on
I was thinking about that the other day. That could also be ADR. Okay. So you just never know.
Okay, well, I'm just on short, man. I think the data's 3 or 4 days old. 12% short, and they are 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th most shorted company on the ASX. So
yeah, well, look, I mean, that Clarity was as well at one stage, and we know that they took in excess of $100 million bath on that. So good luck to the shorters. Hopefully, you get what's coming to you in the end. But bit of a rough week, really. The technicals are the big thing that's turned around for me in the US, albeit that Kai has snuck in the world's most unlikely win this week. And it's starting to streak ahead, and I'm starting to feel pretty stupid on one. But these technicals turning around here at the moment, like. It's the first time I've seen neutral on the weeklies. Definitely the first time I've seen strong sell on the dailies. Having said that, since we've been collating these stats, which has only been since the start of December, so last year, so it's not that much of a time frame.
Why was Russell so bulled up this week? It must be still the sector rotations, right?
I think it's just that it's a scale thing on the chart. Normally the scale's like 5% on the side, not 1.8. But no, I think that I guess they've had so much money going to their mega cap stuff that and the software industry that the rest of the there's been a lot of undervalued companies over there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't really know. But it has been pretty good for for weeks and weeks now. But yeah, that concerns me somewhat that that they're starting to that neutral on the weekly is going to be hard to break. And it probably means maybe he's leveled out for now. But the little Aussie battler, banks, mate, it's, like, as you said before, JT, the banks are doing well and the resources are doing well. And what's half our market? Woohoo!
Yeah, and like just shout out to myself. I was doing the morning report on the Monday, and I did mention that at that exact fact that if I actually had a good sense that BHP and Rio were going to do well this week, and that was off the back of South 32 and BlueScope, the takeover. And then obviously the bank's ripping it as well. So yeah, I thought we'd be at record highs. It did. I think it touched an intraday record high, but just below it. So still a win in my books.
Yeah, I mean, look, BHP's been pretty impressive, and I think there's been late buying for that. But like this week, and I think Rio was kind of already there, so it sort of drifted off today, I think. But that's the weekly, really. I mean, CBA did its thing the previous week, but NAB was up. BHP, Newmont made a recovery. Geez, that square's getting pretty big for Newmont. I didn't actually realise how big a market cap that was getting.
It looks almost as big as
Rio. They could very
Rio.
well be bigger. Yeah. That surprises me somewhat. And they had earnings this morning. It was okay. It didn't shoot the lights out. I think investors were a little bit disappointed. Blocks next week, and Wesfarmers had a pretty good result. But I mean, it's like reading a Wesfarmers earnings report is like trying to do a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Like, it is simply the most confusing company in the world. They've got pharmaceuticals. They've got Anko, and they make cheap T-shirts and furniture, and then they've got tools with Bunnings. They've got real estate, and then just for shits and giggles, they've got like Australia's biggest lithium mine out there, or a very large share in it. So not exactly the easiest company to. They're more a fund manager than they are a company.
But I guess that's testament to their management style. I think what they do is they go, hey, we've killed it in this vertical. What's something we haven't done before? And they just apply their management style to that next sort of niche, and they seem to just kick it out of the park. So, kudos to them. So I guess they did okay in the lithium boom. Maybe they should start rare earths or something along those lines.
So US markets, it's a much worse looking market map for the week. I don't know how Apple. There were stories. Wasn't there stories about Apple at the start of the week? It was like they were, everyone was applauding them for doing nothing in AI, and now they've managed to fall away. I didn't see what really triggered that move, but the US market's been boring as hell this week. It's just been it's relaxed direction majorly. There was a long weekend, but it really is. Well, and that could have something to do with the fact that the morning report's almost getting impossible to write now because the AI is so bad at doing the overnight report. But half the time you're getting overnight report with news stories from like 3 days ago. So I think this morning it had earnings from Wednesday on the morning report on investing.com. So it's taking me forever to get the news stories, collect all the news and the news stories over in the morning. But there wasn't too many company specific. Walmart reported was down. Nothing's happened in Tesla. There we go. There's our SaaS Mageddon in there, in that little bit. But Apple ovens jumped back, and so is CrowdStrike. So maybe the bleeding's starting to stop there. Everyone must have read my article on Livewire this week. So they started buying them again.
great call on technology one and what, or maybe technology not as much on the Wise Tech, but are there any US SaaS companies that you like? I mean, like you did mention a couple of Aussie ones.
We did like a whole heat map. So I piled in look, the irony is that AI has definitely assisted me with this, and as has Kai vetting that my criteria was correct. But I piled in as many like proper academic research papers as I could into multiple AIs because I get a little bit concerned about them just feeding off their own information, and then they were only allowed to reference the data that I fed in. And our criteria, and basically we ended up coming out with a bit of a heat map of who's got the biggest moats, etc. The Aussie companies did pretty well, but it's towards the end. But yeah, it is. I mean, I've got to say, some companies are genuinely screwed. But look, they're because they've got zero moat. And look, there's some that I think there'll be an indistinguishable moat. Like Zero didn't really fare well in the criteria. However, I think the nature of their small business customers means that it's like, could you imagine a tradie going and trying to get Claude to code his own accounting software? I mean, nothing against tradies, but they're probably not going to bother, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And we talked to one of our providers, and they were like, "Oh, if we're going to export tax reports, we'll just input it straight to Zero." And I'm just like, "Oh, there's a bit of a moat right there."
Yeah, I mean, there'll still be the central point anyway, because you've got to have those security plugins and all that sort of thing. But we'll get through the commodities first. Pretty good result for gold and silver, I've got to say, considering the US dollar was up 1% this week, and we've had China away, which are apparently the only people in the world buying gold and silver, according to.
Gold looks nice and steady around that 5,000. I think it'll be there for a few months, but just in general, if it stays at 5,000, these gold miners are printing money or printing gold, basically. And I mean, like we haven't touched it just yet, but obviously a spike in crude. We're nearly 65 a barrel, and we shall see what happens over the weekend.
Yeah, well, as this is what we're going to get into now. So the yellow dots they're long term, so like they've always been there, and then these are the build up. The blue dots are the build ups that are coming in that are fairly fresh. That's quite a few ships. I believe the Gerald Ford and the Lincoln they're like they're super carriers, right? And then
correct, yeah.
The destroyers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 8 or 9 there. And yeah, and these super carriers are ridiculous anyway. So no one else in the world's got those. One guided missile destroyer. So obviously that builder. I think Trump's not trying to hide it because I think he would rather not have to send in troops, or fire loads of missiles. But we did a little bit of research just to sort of lighten the mood a little bit. So on the pizza index. So this is something that is actually incredibly accurate, surprisingly, but it is basically an index and that uses like Google as how busy the pizza places or the takeaway places are around the Pentagon. So we actually, so instead of DEFCON, it's DoCon. It's a little bit of a joke, but when we say a little bit of a joke, it was very accurate for Venezuela, like insanely accurate for Venezuela. It was they kind of manually did it and in the past as well, but every single major military action, it has been like so spot on. So at the moment, as of this morning, we're only at DoCon 4, which is like pretty just like normal. But then we did have a spike at Domino's Pizza, 300% around about midday. But apparently,
is Domino's the closest one to the Pentagon?
Oh, look, there was a spike in a few of them. They take like the Google traffic in like there's a whole bunch of different metrics. Like So how busy the takeaway restaurants are, how busy the traffic is going into the Pentagon because people get called in, and they monitor Google traffic and they've got a heat map. I went and apparently the it's an inverse correlation, but gay bars in the area actually go very quiet when which it's a bit of a don't ask, don't tell sort of scenario. But yeah, so so there's unusually low activity in the gay bars, and we're seeing spiking activity in the pizza restaurants. So sounds pretty stupid, but it has been actually shown itself to be quite accurate. When
should we throw a US Navy seaman joke in there as well, or should we not go there?
Yeah, I don't think we should go there really. But yeah, I think maybe the don't ask, don't tell was enough. But if we get to DoCon 1, it's like it's pretty full on. So when they bombed Iran previously, this was like bang on. It was reporting it before the reporters were reporting it. So I can't remember what the name of the website was, but I'll try and find it in. It's PIZZINT pizint.watch, and you can go and check it out for yourself. But yeah, basically it's fairly quiet at the moment, but Trump does like to do things over a weekend. We're just trying to work out how we can plug this into Mosaic and get an alert going. Kai, you'll have to sort us out there at some stage.
Oh, exactly. Hook it up.
Oh, and also there's also prediction marks as well. So there's what's the main prediction mark? We need
Polymarket.
That's it. So, but we'll need a VPN to scrape the data off that, because apparently that's actually quite accurate as well.
Strangely enough, Polymarkets connects to this website.
Oh, okay.
So they're yeah, it's quite a funny little website, but quite but it said we back in Brexit. I remember Kai was trading with me at the time. The Betfair markets were better than the currency markets in terms of the polling, exit polling, and we saved and made quite a lot of money following the betting markets before we were following the financial news. And because they all just had, they've all got left-wing reporters and bias. So, whereas, bookies don't care as long as they don't lose money. So we'll be definitely watching out for that. He's given Iran 10 days, publicly today, but, we'll just have to, he says a lot of things. So,
I just want to add, my Twitter feed is just full of interesting things. So one strategist said that basically he's either going to go this weekend or in 2 weeks' time, and it's all to do with the full moon cycle. Like basically, you can't
stop you there.
You can't go in during a full moon. I don't know something. There's some sort of strategy behind that. Yeah.
No, but because they'd be able to, they can see. Like, you've got the cover of darkness with
exactly. So they were just timing that.
Oh my God, JT! I thought you were seriously about to start doing like Mercury was in retrograde or something.
No. It's actual military strategy.
Yeah, no. But don't forget that I get. But
the Gerald Ford is actually still a week away as well from being in position. So what the tweet was talking about is that you either send in your first wave of aircraft this weekend, no troops can then attack, or you have both carriers on either ends of the country, and you can launch a full air attack and then add some ground troops as well. But you have to wait till the 18th of March for that.
Yeah, so it's not because like the Supreme Leader's like a Cancer or a Scorpio or something. Like it's they're coming in under the cover of darkness. You had me very concerned there, mate.
Oh, I mean, but. Let's not forget though. This is, we joke about this, but this is really, really serious. I mean, this could be the start of World War III. I know we can joke about it because we're on the other side of the world, tucked away here in Australia. But I hope nothing happens this weekend, and cooler heads prevail. But yeah, it is utterly concerning that we get front sort of news view that this is the connected world that we're in now.
Well, cooler heads prevailing. Donald Trump and Iran. I'm probably not feeling great about the situation. China and Russia just be sitting back, sort of cacking themselves, to be honest. But yeah, and look, the rumours are floating around that supposedly that was why they went into Venezuela, was to lock down oil supplies so they could then go and finish off Iran. So look, I mean, all anecdotal, but whatever. But as is this as well. So we got a little bit. I got a little bit sick of these. This one size fits all software sell off, and we went to mainly because I think there'll be a lot of bargains, but basically. So in the end, I pulled up about 20 or 30 odd companies that we I sort of like the look of that, software as a service, and basically, what they're generally saying is those that sell seats will be probably, that business model's pretty much dead. But there are a lot of companies with moats, so we're just sort of trying to find a way to go shopping here, basically. And so this is color coded, and don't get me wrong, I did not do this. Claude, our new team member, Claude AI, did this for us. The new version is pretty good, but it's very good at doing graphics like this. But all of the information that's fed in is from our research only and references our stuff only. It doesn't pull from the rest of the web, where it sort of seems to be feeding on its own or drinking its own Kool-Aid. But so we got this axis here. We got basically whether it's a beneficiary, and then it's a low threat, a medium to low, a moderate threat, and an elevated threat. I didn't do companies that are going to get smashed, because we were looking for companies to buy. So that's why that high threat's empty. But I'll tell you right now, I'll be shoving Life 360 and Appen straight into that bundle. There's potential, to go. But I mean, mind you, Life 360 survived when its technologies existed for years. But anyway, but we've got some pretty good ones here. So WiseTech actually makes the moat on their basically being plugged into private government networks. Viva, because of essentially it's medical. So anything with really high stakes results where there cannot afford to be errors, because if you've got a small error rate, but you've got to iterate 20, 50, 100 times, that obviously that small error rate compounds every single time. So that one's more involved in medical research, etc. And then obviously there's a bunch of these, cybersecurity firms as well, which essentially need to keep up with AI. So those were sort of AI beneficiaries. The second column is like low effect, essentially, sticky government contracts, and then things like deployment and the ability, your distribution, and your ability to deploy the software on a large enterprise scale. I think Constellation, which has been absolutely savage, it's a roll-up trade in SaaS, and it's bought a lot of AI companies, so that's where it got a little bit of a moat, because it's got such an enormous breadth. And then obviously this axis here is time. So if you're up around here, these companies up here, it means you've got at least 5 years, and you're pretty damn safe. And then if you're in this box here, you're actually a beneficiary. So Salesforce and Xero were down here. I think I would think Salesforce is a little bit more vulnerable than Xero, but I think they probably should get points for deployment and reach. But it is definitely a seats model, and it is definitely super expensive. HubSpot, by the way, didn't even make the high threat. It's in. There's a little gravestone over here. It's so far dead. But its model is gone essentially. It is the actual definition. So it's getting hosed. It'll survive, but yeah, and we've got there's a whole report on all this, and it's interactive. So if you go to the website and click on it, and you've got the every time when you hover over a company, it'll explain why it is okay in those certain things. So pretty proud of myself there, or pretty proud of my ability to get Claude to do it for me. But that was it was an interesting research project basically into, they're so often the best opportunities, like the GLP-1 drug thing, where, ResMed got to what, $20 or $18 or something stupid,
Yep.
and CSL got smashed. Like sometimes, there are companies that got deservedly smashed because of the weight loss drugs, but sometimes the market just blanket sells everything, and then they're the opportunities. So that's what we're kind of looking at. But Kai, you've been extraordinarily busy this week, which is why I've had to get you to help. That's why I've had to help out when it's not normally my department. But thankfully, you didn't heavily disagree with me. But what are the ones you're liking on there?
Yeah, the general thesis still stays, right? I think you're right in terms of the mode. It's always the data, hardware, compliance, of course. But I think just in general subscriber base as well, right? Like you go, has there been competition in SaaS? Always, what's the
Yeah.
difference? And basically, like you've had market position, you've implemented well. You've got a good stable business model, and you're making revenue. Like that's really a big chunk of it. And I think they've just been really blunt and discounting and going like, I do think the front end, the interface will be commoditized, right? Because
Yep.
really, you got these microservice apps where it's like, oh, okay, these little simple mobile games and things like that. Oh my God, you're gonna have tons and tons of these new things come out. But these massive stable companies where it's taken years to build, and it's really the implementation of it that's really the key to these companies, right? So, but are there going to be disruptions for sure? No, and I agree. Like accuracy is probably the biggest weak point of AI.
Well, that was
yeah.
one of the big arguments that I didn't really think of. It's particularly in the medical industry, like it's a 1%. Well, they're about a 10% error rate, but if it does constant loops and constant iterations, that 10% error rate compounds.
Absolutely. Like imagine you got a false. Just think of a group of human doctors chatting, right? Like let's just take robots out of this equation. If one doctor told you the wrong thing and the next doctor took that information and passed that on, kept passing on, it's like Chinese whispers, right? Like you go down the line and it ends up being, not very valuable information or very, very different to what the initial, analysis was. So I think these critical, imagine a doctor being 10% off, or like I'm 2 centimeters away from your heart. Whoops, I got your something else, right? Like you can't afford that risk. Yeah.
That was the when I did socials for the article about the hallucination loops. I had a bunch of robots playing Chinese whispers. Which is, they went, sell SaaS, pass it on. Sell SaaS, pass it on. It was again created by AI, but it's a very good time to be not very to not be a gun coder, because there's no way would have been able to get this done. But we only really discovered Claude the last couple of weeks, to be honest, and I think I've used 75% of our tokens in 1 week.
And the other thing that was blowing up in the AI space is there's this new agent that's come out which is called OpenClaw. It's not Claude. It used to be called Claudebot, right? And then basically Anthropic sued this guy who created this. But it's actually quite amazing. I was playing around at home, and it's quite amazing. So like you can chat it through with WhatsApp, whatever medium. But this thing, it loops around. It has information to all your computer, so emails, blah blah blah, everything else. It's linked to there. It's like your personal assistant, right? And basically, he went off to OpenAI ended up hiring him.
Nice.
It's been pretty viral on social media. This OpenClaw.
OpenClaw. Yes.
OpenClaw. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the one with AI where it pre-prompts you? So it goes, I want to become a great marketer or something like that, and it'll actually, as you said, go through your information and pick out your weak spots, and actually then go, okay, well, this is the way you go about it. So
No, 100%. Like it's basically, or it's kind of the thing that I was talking about last time, where, you know, your personal information, it basically has access to your. Or it's kind of scary as well, but
Yeah,
it
what could
has.
possibly go wrong there?
Yeah, exactly. Let it loose on WhatsApp. Oh my God, good luck.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you've got
yeah,
some
Yeah.
Russian mobsters open 7 credit cards, and um,
yeah, just
but
just
yeah, I mean,
don't go into
technology doesn't
don't
make
go
the
into your
business,
dad's
right?
chat. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, well, going to your dad, start. I'm not going to go there. Technology doesn't make the business is essentially the point, and it certainly can assist, but it doesn't. There's been plenty of people. I always go back to the example of someone came up with YouTube before YouTube, and essentially the difference was broadband. So they were too early, and like a great piece of tech doesn't necessarily guarantee you success. And I'm pretty sure there'd be a graveyard full of startups that are that have eventually, which would be the worst in the world, to see your idea get successful afterwards to the tune of billions. But like if you can't market it, like it's like that. What was the mouthguard IQ that with the board of doctors and no marketing people?
Hit IQ, I think.
Hit IQ, yeah.
Mhm.
Company's rubbish, but the product is way better than that.
Catapult.
Than that
isn't it?
catapult tracker. In terms of like legal liability for clubs and concussion tracking and blah blah blah. But like, if no one knows, and you haven't got anyone selling it, and you haven't got anyone marketing it, like, well, it's not a business. It's just a piece of technology. So you can't just expect the world to come find you and or put you into application just because you got the best product.
Yeah, exactly.
Human
it's
nature
it's all marketing basically.
Well, and human beings will. There is a bunch of psychological studies done on sales and things that they will They will knowingly buy a worse product for ease. So you're not going to. It's not everyone's going to go and particularly. Like I said, no tradie's not going to do like write his own AI agents to get a little bit of bookkeeping and chase up some invoices. They're probably just going to use Xero, because as a small business owner myself, I don't really have a lot of time for that. I'm too busy trying to work out all these new AI things all the time. DeepSeek, apparently, rumor has it, is coming out with a new version, like soon, in the next sort of week or something like that. I don't know how true that is. It certainly won't be over Chinese New Year. I wouldn't have thought, because it's pretty quiet in terms of those sorts of things. But supposedly it can do a whole bunch of new stuff. We will see. So this map, we are going to keep this map, but it will be organic or fluid essentially. And as new things come to market, we'll have I think we'll just have a bit of a fairly fluid reassessment all the time, sort of in this format, and to keep track, because I mean, yeah, there's some pretty significant movements going on. I mean, some of these companies are down 70 or 80%. That Constellation was one of the worst charts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
Well, it kind of loops back. It kind of loops back to what we talked about like a year and a half ago. Remember the comparison with the internet age? It's like
yeah,
we're going through that, right? Like it's now the basically, all the flush money's kind of like going, hold up a second. Let's think about how they're going to make money.
yeah,
That
exactly.
question wasn't asked for 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
look,
Let's buy pets.com basically. Like it was the any company with a .com, and then you're like, hang on, can we actually make money from this?
No one's going to go to shopping malls anymore. Like, so yeah, it's like humans are funny things, and what we kind of expect might not. But look, like I said, it helps when I think financial news at the moment is in serious trouble, because you can just see it is like no one's bothering to do any research anymore. Like it's just, but then the worst thing is the investors then go to ChatGPT and they're looking up the same crap that's reaffirming like incorrect investment thesis. So there will be opportunity.
I think there's opportunity in AI echo chambers then. or it already is an AI echo chamber. Like basically, you need to
strongly believe someone's using it to their advantage at the moment. They've done it in social media before and never really been caught, but there's what's to say you can't, like, invent a couple of
what was the that data analytics company that rigged elections?
Yeah. I mean, look, long-term capital management was a bit of a disaster back in the day. I mean, the IMF and the Bank of England have flagged AI echo chambers as a systemic financial risk to the financial system. Sorry, because they're worried it could go crazy because there's too many people already plugged into it and the technology's too young. So, and my other very deep concern is that, usually America innovates, that Europe regulates. But like, if Elon puts data centers in space in 36 months, which I listened to his YouTube.
Is that his timeline? 36 months.
He said under 36 months, but as in they'll have elements up there within 24 months or something.
Wow.
And there's no
bloody on Mars already.
He's saying that's 20 years away, isn't it?
20 years away.
Yeah, no, he's
data centers in space, 36 months.
He's gone to the moon, right? Like he's like, let's take a step back, go to the moon instead.
No, he's not just going to the moon. That's where he's like. Yeah. So he's going to get those Falcon rockets or whatever. It's not the Falcon; it's the new one. It's a massive one.
The Starship.
Yeah, the Starship. So they're going to manufacture these things on the moon. They're not going to manufacture on Earth.
That's so cool. It's still cool. So, I love it. It's like regardless of his timelines, but yeah.
Yeah, but what this? It's like international waters, right? What's the legal? If your data is going to space and it's not crossing state lines, like what's the? Then there's no maybe it doesn't get regulated. I mean, who's mayor of the moon?
Alien law.
Like
they've got to come up with the rules of the galaxy.
Well, didn't he have a bunch of Optimus robots, or was it Chinese? Like, they're basically Optimus robots building Optimus robots. So he just needs to send a few of those to build a few, just move a few data racks together and
that's
build
the
them
long-term
on the
intention. As a very avid Elon follower, he's not at Optimus building Optimus yet.
Oh, okay.
But it will definitely happen. The first Cybercab came off the production line. The first steering wheel-less, pedal-less car ever made, right off the production line in Texas, and is getting tested.
We're here, you guys saw the Chinese robot show as well.
Nearly all of it's been now debunked, hasn't it?
Is it?
No, loads of it. The military one's definitely been debunked. I don't know about the dancing one, but
the ones with the kids on the show and whatever. Like I thought that...
I'd probably just fact check.
Okay.
Which you can do on Twitter now. You just go, you just tag Grok in and you go, is this
true? Yeah.
I was a little bit insulted when quite a few people did that to a couple of my articles this week. I was like, screw you guys. But Grok backed me up, mainly because I probably may have used Grok to help me out with the article. Now, earnings next week.
NVIDIA.
The big dog, NVIDIA and Salesforce. It probably should be more of a warning circle rather than an important circle, probably for WiseTech too. But they're the two bigger ones. I mean, we do have Woodside. There's a couple of decent ones next week. The supermarkets, it'll be a cure for insomnia. There is like 5 Fed speakers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night each night, and then PPI.
Oh, we got CPI here as well. Or is that New Zealand?
We got CPI, and then Michelle Bullock. Michelle Bullock speaks that night after CPI. So that could be interesting. But like WiseTech and Fortescue probably. I think iron ore's been doing okay, but it's been getting pretty belted. But WiseTech's a massive one. That stock is just, oh my god! We've got a tiny bit of it. We've only bought one clip of or a quarter of what we want to buy. But I don't know. I kind of don't know whether I've got the balls to buy another clip before it. But we'll see how we go. Because as much as it does have that moat, I I'm a little bit scared. I never thought it'd get through $60. I think it's at 47, isn't it, or 46? It's unbelievable. You can hear the screams on Twitter. It's that bad from people, but but not much apart from the big dog there. Intuit's probably part of that. It's part of that software category as well. And some of these will be interesting, but by and large, they're not massive companies overall. So things will calm down, and fingers crossed we don't have any issues with Iran over the weekend. So I'm not going to talk now because it's just for those of you watching at home. 1 does not mean I'm in first place.
So Kai's is that 5 out of 6 for the year?
It is 5 out of 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running at 50%. So I've gone opposite Kai.
I'm running at a margin of error.
So I've gone opposite Kai. I actually purposely asked Kai, what are you this week? And I purposely went opposite just to try and catch up. It's the footy tipping analogy. You just have to try and catch that lead there.
It's too far in the lead.
You just got to protect your lead. Yeah.
And I've gone bearish just on the technicals essentially because, apparently fundamentals doesn't help. Although I'm pretty bullish that particular section of I think that the narrative's starting to turn in that software, and it's not going to turn in all of it, but I mean, all bets are off if Joe's Pizza ends up getting a spike of 900% in pizza orders at the Pentagon, so erring on the side of bearish based on those technicals. And we've got GDP tonight and PCE. So
okay.
We're either going to get off to a one of us will probably be a clear winner by about 12:31 tonight after the figures out. So so we'll just see what happens. But that wraps it up for this week, gentlemen. It's been do yourselves a favour and get onto Mosaic because we've been piling in the content this week. We've got a bunch of those company updates, which we've been doing, which we've been putting out on socials, and you can actually see some of those before you have to sign up, so you can get a bit of a taste. JT's had a recommendation out this week. We've got a nice structured product coming up in the software area, and you can see all our strategy in terms of which software companies to buy and which to not buy and what are the opportunities and things. So considering it's like $5 a day, it's pretty good value for what you get. And there's actually a couple of I did a couple of investor education articles on technicals, dollar cost averaging, and some candlestick patterns and stuff like that this week as well. So in the last couple of weeks, so starting to fatten out nicely. In terms of the base content. So the boys have been hard at work. But gentlemen, have a great weekend.
Yep, and thanks for listening, everybody.
And go the Bears because we need to catch up, JT. Jesus.
We do.
All right, catch you guys next week. General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.